Hello and welcome to Undercurrent, Perth's only totally locally made current affairs program. A study recently released, in fact earlier this month, indicates that many people who are doing home renovations may very well be exposing themselves to asbestos, which can cause a very deadly type of cancer. Joseph Lobo has the story.
Until the Occupational Health and Safety Act of 1984, companies such as James Hardie and CSR provided materials containing asbestos for home renovations. But a study published this month reveals that more and more people who were exposed to asbestos at home before 1984 are today contracting the deadly cancer mesothelioma.
Mesothelioma is a rare condition outside exposure to asbestos. It was virtually unknown until asbestos came onto the scene, and then there was a lapse because the incubation period for mesothelioma following exposure to asbestos is very long. We believe that we can attribute virtually all cases of mesothelioma to exposure to asbestos.
There's been talk of this being a third wave of the disease. Could you explain briefly what that means?
Yes. Well, the third wave is just the third wave of people exposed. So the first wave were people who dealt with the raw material. The second wave were those then that dealt with the asbestos products through their occupations. So this third wave now is for people who are exposed just through their normal daily activities, either in the home or in public buildings where there are asbestos products.
We rarely see the disease within 10 to 15 years following first exposure to asbestos. From then on, the rate and the risk, if you like, increases exponentially with time, up to about 40 to 50 years, when it maybe flattens out after that.
So Peggy, when were you diagnosed with the disease?
February 2007.
And so what has your treatment been for it?
Well, I don't need any treatment. Don't want any treatment. It all sounds too much for an old lady of my age.
How did you contract the disease?
Doing renovations on homes in the late 1950s. You just automatically did it and then moved on to the next place. You took your house with you. Things like that.
We asked James Hardie and CSR for their views on the recent study. Sean O'Sullivan, Vice President of Investor Media and Relations at James Hardie, told us
35% of our annual cash flow goes towards an independent fund, which is used for any litigation claims relating to mesothelioma. Our second obligation is to pay $500,000 towards medical research into a cure or better treatments for asbestos-related diseases. Finally, we put aside $75,000 annually for the education of home renovations about asbestos. Since 2001, we have committed $700 million towards these obligations.
So do you think companies such as James Hardie, CSR or the government have done enough to raise awareness for this disease?
No. I think people generally are aware that asbestos is a problem, but they are not aware enough that it is a serious problem and needs to be treated with extreme caution no matter what you do. The concern is that small amounts of exposure or single events of exposure can cause this disease.
I think they should have been more accountable to make people aware of it. But were they aware of it? That was the point. The people in the right places, were they aware of it? I don't know.
What more do you think James Hardie and CSR could do to raise awareness for the disease?
Be more supportive of people like Robert and Rosemary here at the Asbestos Society and for research. It's no use having research if you haven't got the follow-up to go with it.
CSR declined to respond to our inquiries. I'm Joe Lobo, reporting for Undercurrent.
The Italian community in Perth have been celebrating their very best restaurants. Sarah Miller was at Modo Mio at Burswood to find out what's cooking.
I'm here at the Modo Mio restaurant Burswood for the Italian Restaurant Awards Night. Tonight, 8 of the best Italian restaurants in Perth will be awarded the Hospitalia Italiano official certificate.
every day more and more people really strive for the best and to show the best out of each country. The moment that we've got the courage of doing that and showing, even if it's a simple dish, but with pride and doing the best, I think people will appreciate it. This award is very important and is very good because it gives the opportunity for people to see what is happening around the world, and it's not something that because it's an old style cooking like Italy is to be forgotten or is less than other styles that are coming up more modern every day.
We play a lot with the first course, the pasta. We do every bit of pasta by ourselves. We do our own bread. We do our own biscuit for the coffee. Whatever needs for restaurants, we are complete. I mean, we do not buy anything from outside. This sort of recognition should spur the people to do and to prepare and go back to some old recipe and making sure the Italian origin is not lost.
Okay, so first of all, how important is it for the Italian government to award these restaurants with certification?
It is very important. Basically, many restaurants since last year have been certified with this special quality seal. It is a recognition of the strong work that the Italian restaurateurs do around the world. And it's important to recognize the restaurateurs that promote the Italian cuisine in the traditional way, utilizing Italian product and following traditional Italian recipes. In Perth, like everywhere else in the world, restaurateurs that got to know about this project have put down their candidature, the nomination, and with all the details, all the documentation went to Italy with a special commission, had a look at the documentation and gave the certification to the 8 restaurateurs.
We're catering this evening to some very high-profile restaurateurs. So from our perspective, it was about the attention to detail, to recreate some authentic food, and to create an atmosphere that is, I think, indicative of the Italian hospitality.
What made these Italian restaurants here tonight stand out before other Italian restaurants in Perth?
They fulfill all the requirements that were requested, and they got this certification. Compared to the number of the people living in Western Australia, the number of restaurants is quite high. At the moment, we have 5 Italian restaurants certified in Melbourne. We have probably 12 in Sydney, and less of us in Queensland and South Australia. So I think in Western Australia we've done pretty well.
Well, obviously I am really proud as the Lord Mayor of this city that we are starting to pay recognition to the Italian restaurants within our city, because it's a much loved cuisine of everybody. And I think it's only appropriate that we look at the industry standards and the quality of the Italian food being served in our city. There is a lot of difference between good and bad quality, and I think people are quite savvy now and are looking for good value for the dollars spent, and to really obviously put together dishes with some authenticity that pay true recognition and homage to the importance of the Italian culture.
Oh, look, it's very important to promote Italian food and wine, especially original products. You know, like the wine. The wine has been produced in Italy since 1938, family tradition. Grandfather started it, father kept it going, now the children are running it.
We've been around for quite a few years, you know, what we do, we try to do the best of the Italian cuisine and the original, we use Italian product and everything else, and that's what the time probably they said something about and recognize us, you know.
It's a great pleasure to be part of this great event, especially, you know, when we work so hard to represent the Italian culinary and to introduce something really authentic and original, such as the Italian wines and all our cuisine.
What makes us, the 8 of us tonight, standing out against the other Italian restaurant is that we don't compromise with the quality. and we don't compromise with the product and the way we cook them. And also finally, we draw a line between the real Italian restaurant and the one who sell themselves for Italian, but they are not Italian.
Well, real one is where the passion comes before business, and we are here to deliver what we've been taught in hospitality college in Italy. We've been taught from our moms, and as well is something that we're not just doing it for money.
Tonight is not an award for restaurant or to be different. Today we are all here to represent our country. Each of us present the food, express ourselves in different way. Doesn't mean that we are better or less than somebody else. We are here because we are here to represent what we believe and what we got in our blood.
The Hospitalita Italiana Award Night is the only certification by the Italian government recognising Perth for their fine quality food and services, certainly putting Perth on the map for restaurants worldwide. I'm Sarah Miller reporting for Undercurrent.
In one of our favourite segments of Undercurrent, Sarah Miller was once again on the streets of Perth to find out how much time you set aside for exercise. Let's take a look.
According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, 60% of Australian adults are not getting enough regular exercise, putting Australia on the map as one of the most obese countries in the world. To find out what you think about this, we hit the streets of Perth.
Do you think Australia is an obese nation?
Yes, I suppose it is.
I think so. I think we're getting that way, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I'm personally a health nut and a gym nut, so yeah, a lot of people would need to start eating a lot more salads and all that sort of thing. So
I've been to quite a few different countries, and I just think that here people are more healthy, more outgoing. It's very sunny over here, so people just seem to be a lot thinner over here and take care of their bodies better.
Fast food is a lot cheaper than healthy food. Do you think this might have something to do with it?
Hells yeah. I'm broke all the time. I'm constantly in Macca's. I'm broke, but I can afford to go to Macca's every day.
6 out of 10 Australians don't get enough exercise. What do you think about this?
That's probably true, yeah. I don't get a lot of exercise, so yeah, probably true, yeah.
I'm shocked. I never would have known, yeah.
Why do you think Australians aren't getting enough exercise?
Lazy.
Tied down with jobs as well, I suppose. So not easy finding the time.
Technology.
Yeah, technology.
Facebook, internet, less outdoors. Probably security too. A lot of parents are worried about their children being outside, that sort of thing.
Do you think that gyms are too expensive and maybe that's got something to do with why people aren't getting enough exercise?
they're not really expensive. People spend a lot more money on junk food and cars and other crap like that. A lot of the time, the price of gyms hasn't really got anything to do with it. It's just, like I said, motivation and everything. A lot of people aren't motivated at all to do that sort of thing.
How can we promote people to exercise more and to eat healthier?
We need to start in education. We need to start at the school level. With the new curriculum coming in, there's more emphasis on health, so hopefully that'll make a big difference.
Starting in schools, educating children is a good step. I think educating them on healthy eating, less junk food, healthy lunch boxes is a great start, and I think promoting exercise and making it fun for children.
Don't eat too much junk food and do lots of exercise.
Most people agree that Australians are not getting enough regular exercise and that educating students in school about healthy eating and physical activity may be a good place to start. I'm Sarah Miller, reporting for Undercurrent.
Time for a break on Undercurrent, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, Christy Molliker has been taking a look into all of the show bags at this year's Royal Show. Welcome back to Undercurrent. Now, Mercedes College is certainly labelled appropriately, but what about all of the goodies that you find in your show bags at the Royal Show? It's important that they're not only labelled correctly, but that they're safe as well. Christy Molliker investigates.
Well, one of my favourite events in Western Australia is just about here, the Perth Royal Show. Now, for big kids like me, that means a few sleepless nights leading up to it. But for those behind the scenes, it means a whole lot of hard work, and some pretty stringent tests are now underway.
This week, a highly skilled team of safety officers from Consumer Protection got to be the envy of every child by taking a sneak peek at the 249 show bags on offer at this year's show. Rigorous tests were put in place, making sure that stringent safety and labelling standards were adhered to and met national safety levels.
Basically, we'll go through all of the toys and all the items in the show bags to make sure that they comply. We're looking at specifically toys for children under 3 to ensure that they have no small parts that a child can choke on. You know, there's going to be a lot of children at the show, and the show bags are a big part of the show, so it's important that those bags comply with the safety standards and that they're safe for children.
We've had some very special show bag testers here this year, as we do every year. This year they're from Woodbridge Primary School, and they've applied the fun test to show bags. So they've been my faithful offsiders in making sure that all the show bags pass the test. And there's some pretty happy and excited kids you can hear in the background, and some not so small kids that are happy. I saw the Premier getting into a lifesaver bag not long ago.
Close cooperation between Consumer Protection and the Royal Agricultural Society means that show going for families is not only a happy time, but a safe time to be enjoyed by all, as seen here by the students of Woodbridge Primary School, specially selected to also run their own form of advanced show bag tests.
And how many show bags are you normally allowed to buy at the Royal Show?
We usually get 2, one with toys and one with lollies.
What makes a good show bag?
One with lollies in it. And some toys.
So today you got to do something that everybody wants to do and check out all the show bags. Do you feel lucky?
Yes.
And the news gets even better, with Premier Colin Barnett announcing that all children under 12 accompanied by an adult will get free entry to the Royal Show.
On the 1st of October to the 8th of October, the Perth Royal Show takes place. And as Hugh just said, there is a very distinct CHOGM link to the Perth Royal Show. To manage CHOGM, required that we needed to close down not the whole city but just parts of the city, and it was also decided to move the Queen's birthday holiday from its usual date, which is always during show week, to the Friday the 28th. That may have affected attendances at the show, although I doubt it because attendances continue to rise every year, but in the spirit of that and in CHOGM, the state government with the Royal Agricultural Society, the state government has agreed to pay for all children 12 and under to attend the Royal Show, so long as they are accompanied by an adult. So that will save $12 per child for each family.
And with less than a week to go, it's no wonder showgoers are in a frenzy, with many children and big kids at heart already planning their day out at the show. And of course, the all-important show bag shopping list.
And what's your favourite show bag, Minister?
Well, I can't tell you, but there is chocolate involved.
So with 258 show bags, 10,000 animals, a dinosaur petting zoo and kids under 12 for free, it looks as if this year's Perth Royal Show may just be bigger and better than ever before. And I, for one, can't wait. This is Christy Mulliker reporting for Undercurrent.
The Undercurrent team were at the 2011 WA Training Awards at Burswood recently. Christy Mulliker met some of WA's most promising apprentices.
With the lady behind this magnificent event tonight, Frances Papalia, the coordinator of the WA Training Awards for 2011. Frances, congratulations, what a great event.
Thank you very much. I'm really proud of it. It's a great night. We've had some fantastic nominees from so many different industries. It's really impressive.
Now, why do you think an event like this is so important?
It's so important. Training is so important. I was a trainee with the department many, many moons ago. I'm passionate about training, and I'm here tonight showing everyone how important training is, and I just find it really essential to celebrate the excellence of these people.
With 14 awards for both individuals and organisers, the event was jam-packed with smiling faces and much team spirit. The Minister for Training and Workforce Development, Peter Collier, and I both agreed it was an event like no other.
It is It's quite a wonderful event this evening, isn't it?
Yeah, great. A tremendous amount of energy in the room tonight, and I think what it does is it permeates exactly what training's all about in Western Australia. There's a tremendous amount of energy, tremendous amount of dynamism in terms of where training's at the moment. We've got more people in training than ever before, and that's reflected in what we've got here tonight.
What does an event like this mean for Western Australia?
Look, recognition of excellence in any forum is a wonderful thing, and particularly in training. What you've got here is in people that are, for want of a better term, have been treated as almost subservient to those people that treat an academic pathway.
Now, lots of the people nominated for the awards last year and this year have also said to me that the people they have met during the course of these awards, they have formed networks with them as well. That's really important too, isn't it?
Yeah, we're a very dynamic industry in the training sector. I'm part of that sector, got to say, and I represent that sector, so I feel it. I feel those synergies between the people within, perhaps within traineeships or apprenticeships or,
What would you say to tonight's winners and nominees?
Look, if you choose a career pathway in training, you have got a treasured possession. You've got a qualification that can open doors for you, not just in Western Australia, but nationally and internationally.
So what does winning this award mean to you?
It's just great to know that all the hard work that I've put in has paid off, and it's great to just kind of inspire other people who are in the same training section that I am in.
Now, quite a big honour you just won. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great. Feel privileged, I guess, to be the face of my family, friends, supporters of guests along the way. It's helped me along the way, so it's good.
What do you think winning this award will mean for your career?
Well, I think it will just be such a big step in helping me get jobs in my future career, and just the experience I'm going to get from this is going to be awesome.
Now, tell us about what it is you've been doing as an apprentice and how you came to win the award.
Well, I got my apprenticeship last November, so since then I've just been working at Globe Coffee House in South Perth. One of my lecturers actually gave me one of the applications for the award, so I thought, what the heck, I'll just try, and I'm glad I did.
What does winning an award like this mean to you?
It's a huge honor, especially for someone who comes from a country, and especially for a background where English is not our first language.
Well, the WA Training Awards for 2011 have been a resounding success, which in my opinion just goes to show that our WA apprentices, trainees and trainers might just be one of the most important resources we have here in Western Australia. This is Christy Mullica reporting for Undercurrent.
As you can see, business isn't necessarily booming everywhere, but certainly around some parts of Australia, it may well be. To find out what's happening up in Exmouth, Nick Hayes spoke to John Warren, who's president of Exmouth's Chamber of Commerce.
Is it true this program was brought to you by WA's most trusted car dealer, John Hughes?
Absolutely.
John, thanks for joining us. John, as the President of the Chamber of Commerce in Exmouth, how's things going up bush?
Look, up the northwest is taking off, as you'd expect, or no doubt read about, but certainly the Pilbara in particular is being overrun with iron ore expansions and oil and gas expansions, and that's affecting Exmouth too, of course.
You've got a position here in Perth and you fly up quite often up to Exmouth. What's the feeling in the town? I mean, how is regional Western Australia as a token town here feeling with the mining boom going on?
Well, Exmouth's been really excited by it actually, and we've recently been listed as a World Heritage Area, and we've been concentrating in the past much on tourism, but now that the mining and oil and gas boom has taken off to the extent that it has, that's boosted the economy of the town significantly, and that's really only just begun.
Do you think Perth people look at regional cities and regional towns in a different way?
Look, I think most of the people in Perth that haven't been to the Pilbara in recent years would be absolutely amazed by the changes that are going on up there and how big they are. For example, the iron ore industry was probably churning out in the order of 230, 240 million tonnes per annum only 3 or 4 years ago. In 3 or 4 years from now, it'll be in excess of 1 billion tonnes per annum. Now that's 4 times obviously, and that's going to have, and that is having, a major increase on the populations in the Pilbara and surrounding areas, because people are choosing to not fly back to Melbourne or Sydney or Perth to live. They're choosing to try to live up there if they can, and Exmouth's been a recipient of that.
Does this mean now that towns are going to thrive, boom?
Well, many places in Rio in particular are already flying a number of people from other towns in WA, including from Broome, Busselton. So Exmouth's another one of just one of those, but already there's a number of regional towns who are getting some advantage out of the Pilbara mining boom.
Do you feel that Perth is too distant? I mean, is Perth as distant as Sydney and as distant as Melbourne when it comes to Exmouth?
Look, Exmouth's a little bit different because it's not on the main road, and people generally come to Exmouth for tourism or holiday purposes and or business. Generally people see it's a day's drive, it's a full day's drive to Exmouth, about 1,300 k's from Perth, and it's not on the road to anywhere else. You've got to turn in about 240 k's away from the main road up to Karratha and so on.
When the big mining companies now are using Exmouth now as a potential employment pool, what's that going to mean to the town?
The town currently has about 2,500 people. Rio Tinto, I think, will look to expanding to as many as 200 people out of Exmouth over the next couple of years. But that's not the only thing that's expanding in Exmouth. The Defence Department, as you're probably aware, are doing a lot, or looking a lot at Northwest Australia. And we've got a naval base being operated by Raytheon in Exmouth. The US government and the Australian governments are looking at doing quite a large satellite tracking station there.
What are the development opportunities in regional WA, and use Exmouth as an example?
Oh, well, look, I think Exmouth's in a very unique position. Oil and gas in particular have some real difficulties at the moment getting supplies out to their drilling rigs and FPSOs offshore. And there are 2 proposals in Exmouth at the moment for marine supply bases.
What's your sales pitch to the people here that want to move up north or, are working in the mining industry?
Tourism's going to be a big attraction for the people of Perth, and therefore with that kind of lifestyle, anybody in Perth that wanted to live in the northwest wouldn't find a better place to live because it's got such beautiful beaches, gorges, whale sharks and so on.
John, thanks for joining us.
Well, unfortunately, that's it for this week's episode of Undercurrent. But don't worry, we will be back again next week. If you'd like to respond to anything that you've seen tonight, you can do so by jumping on Twitter and using the hashtag Undercurrent, or joining us on our Facebook page. Now, if you want to catch up with me again on Sunday, I'll be on 6PR from 12 p.m. Other than that, I'll be back again next week with more Undercurrent. I'm Jason Jordan. Good night.